Welcome to the Travel Man podcast, and on today's episode I'll be discussing my top 10 best beaches that I've swum at. Actually, it's now my top 13 beaches because I couldn't decide on 10, so I've got 13. It's unlucky for some, lucky for others, lucky for me hopefully. Anyway, enjoy the podcast. Bye. And I'm back from America and also Bali. Remember what I said I was going to do? I said I was going to let you know if taking a holiday after a holiday is really a good thing. Well, I'm going to tell you today that maybe it's not exactly a great thing because now I just want to be on holidays all the time, which is a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed my time in Bali. I spent time with Mandy, I spent time with my brothers and my brother's wife, and we just enjoyed each other's company, which was really good to see. So I did the usual things in Bali. I relaxed, I read a book, read 5 pages of a book. Actually, I'm starting to read a book by Alex Garland, and it's The Beach. So The Beach is a favourite film of mine. I really enjoy The Beach, and I think that was made in 2000. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio. I really enjoyed that book. But I'm going to end up bringing out a podcast later on, and it will be called My Top 10 Travel Books. So I will be talking about The Beach, and I'll be talking about a bunch of other books in a couple of podcasts because I have to actually read the books first. So once I've read the books, then I can, bring out the podcast. But I was also going to say that I left out 2 restaurants. I actually left out a few more, but I left out 2 restaurants when I was away that I wanted to talk about very briefly. And one was DJ's Clam Shack, which is 629 Duval Street, Key West. I ate a Maine lobster roll there, and it was really, really delicious. Had a great beer to suit. So that was delicious. Also ate at Plant Food and Wine, that's 1009 Abbot Kinney Boulevard, Venice Beach in LA, and I ate in an amazing vegan restaurant. I never ate at a vegan restaurant before. I'm not a vegan. I still eat meat. So it was a really tasty thing. It was actually called a haze smoked gnocchi, and what was inside that haze smoked gnocchi was asparagus, peas, fava beans, whatever they are, kale, porcini mushroom cream, and that's about it. And it was really, really, really delicious, and enjoyed it. So I forgot to tell you about those 2 interesting and delicious restaurants / bars / eating areas that you can go to in America. So there you go. But we'll get into it now. So I've swum at many, many, many beaches in my life. I've been stung by jellyfish before. I haven't been eaten by a shark yet. I have been chased by a little fish before, and you'll probably hear about that later on. I don't want to give too much away. I've swum with some... I was about to say white pointers, but that would be very deadly if I started swimming with white pointers. I might not be here. They were white-tipped reef sharks. I think there was black-tipped reef sharks. Also, try saying that really quick. Black-tipped reef sharks. Anyway, so I've swum at a lot of beaches. So this is my opinion only. It's only my opinion or for things that I've taken account for when I've been organising my beach rankings, because they're organised from 13 to 1, and I've also given them a score out of 10, so between 1 and 10, nothing got 1. So the things that I take into account for is quality of water, amenities nearby, cleanliness of the beach sand, how accessible the beach is, how easy it is to get there, how to get to the beach, either by car, boat, flying, and the accessibility of food and drink, because that's really important. Otherwise, you're going to have to be bringing a picnic basket. So, well, So this is essential to my list. The beaches I've chosen must have one of these, you know. They've also got to be a pretty beach. So you may have gone to some of these beaches, you may have not. If you want to let me know of some of your favorite beaches, I'd love to hear from you. Email me at travelmanpodcast@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram or Facebook. And I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I will reply to you. Please talk to me, or please send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I am Travelman Podcast for both. So if you look up Travelman Podcast and you see Ben Dow, Ben D-O-W, Ben Dow, however you want to say my name, that's me. And I'm also an Travelman Ben on Instagram. So if you see that same name, that's me as well. So you can join, or you can add me on Instagram twice. So there you go, twice the amount of fun. So I've been thinking of this podcast for a really long time. I recently swam at a lovely beach, a sandy beach in northeastern Bali. It's called Ahmed Beach. It is well known for having black sand due to volcanic activity nearby. I think the volcano went off maybe last year or the year before, maybe last year. But you'll have to see if that got on my favorite list or my top 13. Before I get into the top 13, a special mention has to go to Phang Nagar Bay National Park in Thailand. It is made up of some really small little islands and atolls and stuff like that. They've all got brilliant white sandy beaches. Some of them don't have any trees. Some of them have trees. The water is that azure color, you know, that I can never say this word, turquoise, got it, done. I'm a winner. Turquoise water. So if you like that, then I would try and see if you can organize a tour out to Phang Nagar Bay National Park in Thailand. You can get organized tours from Phuket or Ao Nang, so it is worth a visit. Go there. I'm sure there will be beaches that, once this podcast is fully recorded, because this is my second time recording it, don't ask me why, but anyway, I might have to adjust this list every couple of years, as I'm sure every couple of years I'm going to go to new beaches, and then they'll probably, you know, outrank other beaches and get into the list, or other beaches will leave the list. But anyway, here's the list. Here's the top 13, and number 13 is Bond Beach in Melbourne, Australia. I give it a 7 out of 10. And Bond Beach is my local beach. It's got pretty white sand, very clean. There's actually no shade or protection, so you will have to watch out for the wind, because the wind does pick up a bit, and it once blew our tents away, which was pretty funny. It wasn't funny when the tent actually hit someone on the beach, but that wasn't my tent. It was someone else's tent, and it wasn't me laughing, I promise. But with this small negative, there is a big positive. It is a safe beach, perfect for families, pretty shallow, very clear water for a Melbourne beach, although right up that kind of coast in Port Phillip Bay is pretty clear water. It's a nice place to go if you're from Melbourne and you want to find a great beach, because I know a lot of the beaches there are pretty nice, but that's just my favourite. Remember, this is my favourite. The water isn't too cold either in summer, so there's not too much beauty about the place other than it being just a nice wide beach and perfect for sunbaking on. If you are a traveller and you're located in Melbourne CBD, you can get to Bond Beach by the train. You go up, maybe it's the Frankston line, up to Bond Beach Station. So you can You can take the train up to Bond Beach Station. That's cool. There's not many options. There are some options on the main road, which is, I think, Beach Road. So I think there's a fish and chip shop that I've tried there, and it's pretty nice. But if you are travelling from overseas, maybe try a closer beach like St Kilda Beach or Brighton Beach. St Kilda Beach does have Luna Park there, and it's got lots of food and drink options around. So maybe that's a cool option. Anyway, what I liked about Bond Beach is that it's a clean Melbourne beach. The water is clear. You know where you're about to stand. I got some great memories of having just a heap of fun with my brothers, Mandy, and friends. So that's why I chose that as beach number 13. Beach number 12 is Moreton Island Beach in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and that gets a 7.3 out of 10. Moreton Island Beach is only accessible from Moreton Island Ferry Terminal. You can take that ferry from Brisbane. There is a terminal, and it's out in the... I was about to say it's out in the sticks. It's not really. It's near some industrial area. It's by the water, obviously. There is information in the show notes, so check the link. This is a spectacular beach. It is clean. It's nearly untouched, but there's nothing to do there. Unless you like swimming, sunbaking, and getting burnt. Now, the water is that word I can't pronounce, turquoise coloured. And there is a famous wreck to swim to, like there's 4 ships all lined up. There is a lot of tropical fish because it is a tropical location. It's like on level with Brisbane, so you will be able to see tropical fish there. I did swim to the reef, so I suggest that you only swim to the reef if you're a good swimmer, because it is the channel where the ferries come up and down, and it is deep, and the current is fast. I actually got a cramp in my leg when I was swimming across, and I thought I was going to drown. But that's all right. I got to the other side, and all good. So enjoy that beach, but be careful. All right? But from my recollections, the ferry comes in the morning. Morning time. It takes like an hour and a bit to get there. I remember watching old Russell Coit videos. It was hilarious on the beach there because I went with Patrick and my brother and Mandy. But the boat only comes back in the afternoon, so you'll be there the whole day. So make sure you bring something to cover yourself because there isn't many areas to get undercover. So what I liked about Moreton Island is its beauty. Its natural beauty. It looks like a postcard, especially from above. So if you have a drone, it'd look pretty cool to take drone footage around there. So the awesome white sand, turquoise water. There's a feeling of seclusion here, so you do feel like you're far away when you're really not that far away from Brisbane. So I enjoyed swimming up to the wreck. I liked looking around the wreck, looking at all the fish. And that's about it. I did get that cramp, like I said, but other than that, great beach to go to. Great, super beach. Beach number 11 is Green Island Beach. Queensland, Australia gets a 7.4 out of 10. So for you to get to Green Island, you'll have to take a boat from Cairns, which is far north Queensland. Cairns is a good location also to take charter boats to the different dive locations in the Great Barrier Reef. You should actually do that in your lifetime because it is a fantastic thing to do. Grab a boat before the reef is dead. Grab a boat and get out there and look at the reef. Enjoy the reef. It's not scary, although when they do stop the boat, they tell you to get out with your snorkel gear. This is when you're in the reef. And you've got about 20 meters of swimming before you actually get to the actual reef. And below you is about 20 meters of water. So that is a bit creepy, but once you get past that bit, you'll be so happy once you see the reef. So anyway, so Green Island, it's great. But there is a reef really close. So the reason why I chose Green Island Beach is because you have such a close proximity to the reef. You basically walk out of the beach about 10 meters, 20 meters, maybe it's 50 meters, and the reef's right there. Now, it's not the best reef I've ever seen in my life, but sure, better than nothing, especially if you can't afford to go out to the Great Barrier Reef, which is probably $200+ and a couple of hours on a boat. Make sure you do have snorkel gear handy so you can admire the coral, because it's good. I saw a actual sea turtle swimming around here a few times, and I actually saw a turtle swimming around here. There was a few reef sharks about, which is a real non-issue. Like I mentioned at the start, they've got no interest in you. The issue I did encounter was a problematic leather jacket, And I don't mean one from the 80s. This is not an 80s disco leather jacket trying to follow me. This is a fish. A fish. A leather jacket is a fish. It's a fish in Australia. Small little fish. It's really colourful, but aggressive. Little bastard. I mean, the little guy really wanted to bite me. He went for me a few times, but I actually just swam away from him and just tried to make sure I was out of that water as soon as possible. What I liked about this beach was the ability to nearly walk a few meters and then you're at a coral reef. That's cool. Green Island is also really close to Cairns, and it makes for an awesome day trip. Especially, like I said earlier, if you don't want to pay the hundreds of dollars going out to the reefs that are a few hours away, this is a real good alternative. The only way you can access it is by the boat from Cairns, so that's cool. I forget how much it was to go there, but I'm sure it's not going to break the budget. So that was my number 11. Number 10 is Burleigh Heads Beach in Queensland, Australia. That also gets about a 7.5. Also gets a 7.5. Nothing else has had a 7.5, Ben. So this beach has lovely large trees that run along it. And also the beach is really clean. Parking is a bloody nightmare though, so you got to get early. You got to get there early or take public transport from the Gold Coast. However you get there, parking is hard work. You might want to get there early just to secure a spot. There is plenty of great food and eating. There's plenty of great eating and drinking options nearby to the beach, so that's a big positive. It's very popular with the locals as well as foreigners. The beach does fill up really quick, so get your towel on the sand as soon as you can. Also, it's a surf beach, so I would suggest to stay between those red and yellow flags if you don't want to get taken out and gobbled up by a shark. It is one of the best beaches in the Gold Coast. Better than Broad Beach, better than all the other beaches. And the surf water is really clear. I can't believe how clear this surf is. So I was going to say, what I like about Burleigh Heads Beach is the consistent surf. I'm usually not a keen surfer or a guy that likes surf beaches, but I do like the occasional body surfing. What I like about Burleigh Heads Beach is the consistent surf. I'm usually not that keen on surf beaches, but this one was fun. The water is also very clear. Beach is clean and pretty. Heaps of options to eat at and drink at. Just be careful for the parking. That's my number 10. Now, our number 9 beach is Pantai Senang Beach in Langkawi, Malaysia. It gets an 8.0 out of 10. So this is great for families, great for anyone really. It's a great swimming beach. The sand is white hot though, so be careful when you walk on the sand. I nearly burnt my feet a couple of years ago when I was here. I didn't expect it to be so hot. A lot of the beach has resorts that back onto it. So those resorts have their areas sectionalized or sectioned off. So those areas are only for people or the guests of the resort. So be mindful of that. There is a large area of the beach that is for the person that's just come for the day just to have a bit of a swim. But the good thing is with those sectioned off areas, you do actually feel like the beach is yours. There is a nice view from the beach. You can see the island of Pulau Rebak Besar and Pulau Rebak Kecil in the distance. It's very idyllic. Have a look on Google and look at those pictures of those islands from the beach. It looks great. So the beach also has an aquarium and a museum nearby to peruse, as well as many shops. It's a beautiful walking beach. I remember walking up and down the beach. I walked right up to the Langkawi sign. It was a fun walk. Indeed. We actually stayed at the Mauritius Pelangi Resort. Hello, Mauritius Pelangi Resort. That's where we stayed. And that did back right up onto Pantai Senang Beach. It's actually really close to the airport, believe it or not. Had a great time there. although the beach does have these stingers, or maybe that's just me, when you get in the water you feel like something zips you. I think it is very, very microscopic little stingers, so be mindful of that. So what I liked about Pantai Senang Beach is I enjoyed the stroll down the beach. I enjoyed going right down to the end of the beach where the big Langkawi sign is. You'll see it in all the YouTube videos. There's also little monkeys, little cute little monkeys that just roam around and just say hi and do their own thing. So I know monkeys aren't everyone's cup of teas, but these ones are really cute. So try that beach out if you're ever in Langkawi Island. Number 8 is Playa del Carmen Beach, Mexico. I gave that an 8.2, so that ranks pretty high. It's number 8. So that has clean white sand. It's a very long beach that you can walk up and down it, but I didn't walk down it. There is sometimes seaweed that gets washed up on the shore, but our resort where we stayed, sorry about that, I just hit the mic. Our resort where we stayed, the Grand Hyatt, was diligent with hiding the seaweed under the sand and removing the seaweed altogether. You would never know the seaweed was there with all those humps in the sand. You would have never thought. You would have thought they were just bodies. But anyway, food and drink is difficult unless you are staying at a resort. This is more a resort beach, so you won't find many places to eat at all or drink that is in close proximity to, your towel, for instance. I liked watching the Mexican people walk past me. So that was fun because they're trying to sell their wares. There's like little kids that are trying to collect used soft drink cans because obviously they want to sell that for money. There's not a hell of a lot of money in that part of Mexico, so people just do what they can to make money. One small negative was that I think someone was robbed on the beach because I remember there was a little bit of commotion near where we were sitting. And yeah, I think they definitely got robbed, this couple. So that was a little bit of a negative, but I'm sure it happens, especially when you're right on the beach. We generally stayed within the walls or the confine of the resort. Most of the time near the pool, near the amazing infinity pool that I'm thinking about now. It was unbelievable. So there are beach chairs and umbrellas set up on the beach, but I suggest if you're ever there, get the beach umbrellas and the beach chairs that are near the pool because you have less of a chance of any of your stuff getting stolen, like your phone or your wallet if you have your wallet on you, which I don't know why you'd have your wallet on you. The scenery is nice, actually, in front of the beach. You can see kind of Cozumel Island. It's a faint outline, but Cozumel Island is really cool. We didn't get the chance to go there, so next time we'll probably try and get to Cozumel Island. There's many boats and sporting activities nearby, so if that's something that you like, that's you can do that. Like riding the big banana with all your friends. I've done that before in Malaysia, and that nearly killed me. You can take a boat to Cozumel Island if you like. Apparently Cozumel Island has the best beach in Mexico, so that would be interesting to see one day. The water is that Caribbean-looking water, that blue-green, tingy water that just looks amazing, and the first thing you want to do when you get to your resort is just swim. Unfortunately, that's not what I did when I got to the resort, but that's nice. So what I liked about this beach was the blue and green color of the water, that turquoise color. Yes, I said it right. You could seriously float aimlessly in the water all day if you wanted to. Up to you. So there's no currents. It's not a scary beach. It is sectioned off, so to keep the sporting equipment like jet skis and stuff from slamming into bodies. I did swim up to the buoys, which are those little floaty balls in the water. I did swim up to them, and that was a bit of fun. Also remember staring out into the water when I was relaxing, eating my favourite pool snack, which was chicken quesadillas. I'd look over the infinity pool and into the horizon. Both the pool and water would mould effortlessly effortlessly, that's a hard word to say, into each other. Amazing. I'm going to go back for sure one day. So that was great. Number 7 beach is Kamari Beach. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, that's in Santorini, Greece. And that got an 8.4. So it's a very nice beach. Kamari Beach is a bit like Ahmed Beach, where it has black sand. It's similar also to Parissa Black Sand Beach, which is on the opposite side of the mountain that separates both Kamari Beach and Parissa Black Sand Beach. Kamari Beach has the black sand due to the volcanic activity like Ahmed Beach in Bali. Santorini is very well known for being very active for well over 1,000 years, or thousands of years. There's many options to eat and drink at Kamari Beach. It's also a main street with plenty of little shops to buy whatever you want. You can walk along the waterfront if you wish. Don't forget to check out the traditional houses, which are really well known in Kamari Village. There's a bus that takes you to Kamari town from Fira, which is like the main town in Santorini, and that takes about 25 minutes. There are deck chairs and umbrellas available for you, but I think you've got to pay for them. I actually can't remember. So it is Europe after all. Looking further into this, yes, no, you have to pay for them. Yep, that's right, you do. So there actually are some nice views of Santorini's unique rock formations from the beach. It's like this little cutout that looks like a cave, but you see kids jump off it, and they're probably jumping 20, 30 meters off this little ledge. So it looks a bit dangerous, but that's okay. The coolest thing about this beach is that you can take the bus up to the hill to the really interesting ruins of ancient Thera. From there, you can peruse all the ruins at your own pace, take your time, and take some really awesome snaps of Kamari Beach from above, because you're going right up to the top of that mountain that separates both of those beaches, and you get to see both of those beaches from either side. And I remember taking some nice photos, and it was great. It's funny because I actually thought I was always at Parissa Black Sand Beach, but I wasn't. I was always at Kamari Beach. I got them mixed up when I was doing my notes, but luckily I figured that out. What I liked about this beach is that you can have a swim and also view ancient ruins in the same day. I can't name another beach that will give you that unless you're at Tulum, where you can see ancient Mayan ruins and have a swim at the same time. But I didn't go to Tulum, which I regret. I don't enjoy the black sand. That's not my favorite. It's more so this beach is really cool for having ruins nearby. Beach number 6. We're getting through them. And we're only half an hour in. Zlatny Rat is beach number 6, or Golden Horn Beach in Bol. I call it Bol Beach, but it's not that. That ranks as an 8.5 for me, and number 6, obviously. Zlatny Rat is located in Bol, which is a little town in the Croatian island of Brač. Brač is one of the largest islands in Croatia. It's located between Split and another island I've been to called Hvar. Now, my pronunciation with these names is pretty good because my wife, Mandy, who you've heard on the podcast before, she's Croatian. So she's taught me well. This beach is an idyllic beach. It has this sandbar that moves with the wind and tide and current of the water. It's voted one of the best beaches in Europe. There's not much eating options around here, so you will have to bring something with you to eat, like make a little pack or something. I was with my friends Stirpe and Anna and Mandy when we were there last, and we had a fantastic day together. I got very burnt though, and I remember going back to Stirpe's house, and he and Anna and Mandy thought it would be so much fun to literally apply a whole tub of yogurt all over my body. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of pain, but it was done Greek style. You can take ferries from Split and other areas that go to Brač Island. Be mindful, though, that the ferries don't run as frequently in winter. Brač is a nice island to visit, even if you don't swim, because it is quite an attractive beach. There's many ferry services that go to Bol and the other seaside towns of the island of Brač. They run from Split, Makarska, Riviera, and other Croatian coastal towns. Look for the ferry that goes to Bol, though, because this is where the Golden Horn Beach is located. If you take a ferry to somewhere else, you're going to have to take then a cab or a taxi to the beach. That doesn't make sense, so go to Bol. Most of the beaches on Brač are nice to swim at, but this just happens to be the only one I've swum at, and it is my favourite. Now, they say that half the beach is a nude beach, and the other half is more for conservative people like me. Yeah, right. Someone once said to me that you'd be perfect at a nude beach. I don't know who that person is. Maybe I do. What I liked about Zlatni Rat is it's fairly shallow, and then it drops right off. It gets really deep, but the water quality is amazing, and it's so clean. I guess that's why Croatia's beaches are always ranked in the top 10, top 20 beaches in the world. Because the quality of water there is amazing. You feel amazing in the water as well when you're swimming around. It just has such a nice feeling on the skin. I enjoyed the time I had with Stip and Anna. Now they've had a child, maybe 2, 1, not sure. But I really want to catch up with them. I love this beach, and it's got a special place in my heart. Beach number 5. We're into the top 5 now. This is getting really good. Number 5 is Loutraki Beach in Chania, Crete. That gets an 8.6. This is a recent addition to my list. Loutraki Beach is a beach that's situated like in a cove in Crete. I was just reminded of this beach when I was discussing the list with Mandy. So this will make my final change. This does make up my final change. If I hadn't remembered this beach, it would have been lost to the list of beaches that I forgot to do list. There is actually a list of beaches that I forgot to do. That's not the first one on the list, obviously. This holds a special place in my heart, this beach. It was where my friend Stan actually introduced me to audiobooks. He played for me Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, and it was this guy with a really deep voice, and it was really interesting listening to that audiobook. I loved it. But Stan showing me an audiobook got me into listening to podcasts. So I remember coming home from Greece and just wanting to listen to podcasts, trying to find out what audiobooks are, and I found podcasts, and then all the rest is history. So this area is quite idyllic, like the last beach that I mentioned. The water here is so clear and blue. The sand is so nice to walk on. For a small beach, there's plenty of chairs and umbrellas to go around. There's also some rocky crops either side of this beach because it's in like a cove. So having some snorkel gear handy wouldn't be a bad thing. Then you'd be able to explore the beach or explore the water. There is a nice grassy knoll to the right-hand side of the beach from memory, so you can set up your towel there and enjoy the water and just be there if you can't get a beach chair and table and an umbrella. There is a bar and cafe located very close. And to get there from Chania, you do have to take a car or a taxi or a little scooter, whatever you want to do. So I'm not sure if there's buses that connect you from here to Chania town, so you'll have to look into that. What I liked about this beach is that it feels hidden from the world. It's a short drive from Chania. It's actually really close to the airport, although you'd never guess. I had a great time swimming here with Stan and Daisy and their family. We were actually at Stan and Daisy's wedding. And Stan showed me this beach, and I was amazed by it. It was so nice. It will always have a special place in my heart. So anywhere where I've spent time with people will always have an amazing place in my heart. That's right. Number 4 is Koh Lipe, Thailand. That gets an 8.7. Koh Lipe is situated in the Andaman Sea, and it's just off the coast of southern Thailand. It's actually pretty easy to get to Koh Lipe from Langkawi Island, which is an island in northern Malaysia, which I mentioned previously. So otherwise you'll have to get a boat from Pakbara, apparently. Alternatively, you can fly from Bangkok to Hat Yai Airport, then take a charter bus or taxi to Pakbara. Then you'll have to take a boat. It's not worth taking the train from Bangkok because it would take probably 18 hours. And I'm not sure if you can get a direct boat from Phuket. So this is probably the prettiest turquoise blue water I've ever seen in my life. This is a small island. You can navigate it on foot. I didn't have enough time. The water is super clean, super clear. Maybe the clearest water alongside beach number 2 and beach number 1. Most of the beaches I've swum at have been clear water beaches and not murky lagoons. Unfortunately, the coral was mostly all dead because it did have coral, but it was dead, which was upsetting. I was there a few years ago, so probably any coral that was alive is totally dead now. But the one bonus is that there's really nicely coloured fish to look at. The water is not cold at all. It's quite warm. Well, comfortable to swim in. And from memory, there's no stingers, which is a good thing. The beach is white hot. And it is sandy. And there are bars that you can drink at. And you can eat some delicious Thai food. I remember looking at those little Thai boats and just enjoying a beer and something to eat. It is a visually beautiful island, has lovely trees that line it. Bring snorkel gear. If you have snorkel gear, remember bring snorkel gear because you'll still see fish. You just see dead coral, obviously. What I liked about this beach was the tranquility of the surrounds. The beach isn't terribly wide, but it's a long beach that's lined with those Thai, I think they're called Thai long tail boats. The water is clear, like I said, with the blue-green hues. The beach is lined with different tropical trees, typical of what you'd expect from a Thai beach. The sand is super white. You can walk down a small little street to buy souvenirs if you wish. But I remember being there with my brother Matt and his girlfriend at the time, and Mandy, and we had a fantastic day. We actually didn't want to go back to Langkawi, so yeah, that was bad. And I remember actually having a bit of issue with getting the passport stamped. It just takes too long because obviously if you're coming from Malaysia, you have to get the passport stamped at this little shack, and then the boat drops you off in the morning, picks you up in the afternoon. You actually really only got 3 to 4 hours of swimming, but we still enjoyed ourselves and it was fun. Now we're down to the top 3. This is a countdown. Top 3. Number 3 is Manly Beach, Sydney, Australia, and that gets an 8.8 out of 10 from me. Remember, this is my choice. So as a swimmer, you have 2 choices to swim at when in Manly. You got either a surf beach or the calm beach near where the Manly ferry gets in. I like the calm beach to just float in, but I also enjoy the surf beach. The surf beach is a lot of fun, but probably the calm beach is my choice. There's an abundance of eating and drinking options nearby. One of my favourite places to eat at and have something to drink is Four Pines Brewery. I do really enjoy Four Pines Brewery. And as you can tell from this list, I like drinking alcohol, which is a good thing. For the tourists, please stay between the yellow and red flags. This surf beach is strong. The surf is strong, so be careful. It is patrolled. That's why the yellow and red flags are there. So just be careful. Stay in between those red and yellow flags and you'll be right. The beach is lined by these magnificent large Norfolk Island trees, which I really enjoy. Manly is such a picturesque beach. Both sides are beautiful. The calm beach, or the calm protected beach side, is perfect for families. eating picnics, just hanging out with people, playing music, drinking. There you go, there's drinking again. Water is clear, clean at both beaches. You're probably wondering where Bondi Beach is, and sorry, but it didn't get on the top 10 or top 13 list. I don't really enjoy it that much. So Manly Beach is accessible by car or the Manly Ferry service. If you're coming from Circular Quay in Sydney, then just look for the Manly Ferry sign. There's a small fee, though, to ride the Manly Ferry from Circular Quay. It's $18.20, return tickets for adults, and $10.80 for a child. Half that if you're only going one way. So the good thing about the Manly Ferry is that when it departs Circular Quay, it goes past the famous Sydney Opera House, and the bridge, the famous bridge. So you can go past both of those landmarks and take photos. And I think that's probably one of the highlights of Manly Beach is getting there from Sydney. But what I do like about it is that you do have both beaches to choose from. As I mentioned earlier, there is an abundance of food and shops nearby, and also places to buy clothes and so forth. This is Australia's best beach, if you put in all my little criterias. Don't worry about Bondi. I have some amazing memories of hanging out at this beach with my beautiful French cousin Magli and her husband Bertrand and their son Max when they were recently in Australia with Bertrand's parents. That was a couple of years ago. It was and will be just one of the reasons why I rate this beach so highly. And like I said at the start, the ferry ride's amazing. Just take the ferry ride from Sydney to Manly. You don't even have to swim. You can just shop there and come back to Sydney. So that was my number 3. My number 2 is Falasna Beach, spelt many different ways. And that's in Chania, Crete, and it gets a 9.0. So that's my number 2, Falasna Beach. So Falasna has stunning white sand and equally clear blue azure water, which took my breath away when I was there in 2013. As I mentioned earlier, it was for Stan and Daisy's wedding. I went to Falasna twice, actually. Once with Stan and Jakub, Stan and Jacob, and the second time with Mandy and some others. So before you get to the beach, you do have to descend a road down to Falasna. So be sure to take photos from the top. The views are amazing and the hills are scattered with olive trees. The drive down is nice also, and also sunset pics are great. So if you can stay there till the night time, go up to the top, take some sunset pics because it's so gorgeous up there. There is a cafe near the beach, which is a great place to have a nice cold drink in the heat of the Cretian summer. The beach is wide and long enough for you to stroll or relax on. So there's plenty of beach chairs and umbrellas for you to use. When you're wading inside the water, you feel as if you've entered a swimming pool. I kid you not. It is amazing. It's very shallow, so probably only 1.5 meters. But the water feels like you're in a pool. I actually remember putting goggles on and thinking, am I in nature's pool or something? It was really amazing. It's the only beach to me that I've ever felt I'm inside a pool. But it was Falasna Beach in Crete, which is just unbelievable. Not many food options, but, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. What I liked about the beach is the water. I think it's level with the number 1 beach that I've ever swum at. The drive down to the beach is also nice, as I said before, and beach is safe. So just remember to have a really awesome time. Falasna Beach is my second favourite beach that I've ever swum at, mostly because of the feeling of being in a pool. I've never felt like that before, and it's a sandy beach. So now, my number 1 beach. This is what everyone wanted to know. My most favourite beach in the world to swim at is called Punta Rata Beach, Brela Beach in Croatia, and it gets a 9.5. This is my favorite beach in the whole entire world. I've even written a song about it. It has a special part in my heart. I've easily swum at this beach more than half a dozen times, easily. Maybe it's in 8 times. Maybe it's 10 times. My wife, Mandy, who's been on the podcast, is Croatian. I'd like to think it's our local beach when we are in Croatia. It's famous for its crystal clear waters due to the filtering of the rocks that line the bottom of the ocean. So there's actually no sand here. It's all like little pebbles and rocks and so forth. So remember, buy rock shoes. I don't like having rocks in my toes, so it's a real pet hate. So I always make sure I have my rock shoes on me. There's an amazing view of Biokovo mountain in the distance or in the background. So this is a must if you want to take some photography, take some nature photography, go up to Biokovo mountain, then have a swim at Brela Beach, or Punta Rata Beach as it's known. There's plenty of nice cafes and stalls selling ice cream, or as you'd say it in Croatian, it's sladoled. You can also buy snorkel gear and other amenities that will be handy when you're at the beach, like walking shoes, walking over those pebbles. You can't really put down a towel, although you could put a yoga mat down and put the towel over the mat, I guess. So the water here is so clear. There are many various fish species that live in and amongst the rocky outcrops. There's a famous rock formation that I don't know what it's called, but it pokes out of the water and there's one tree on it. And the locals have kind of made a little track up the side of it and tend to jump off the top. And it's probably about 10-15 meters. And you see the local kids jump from there and, go back up, jump again, scamper back up, jump again. Actually, around that rock, I would say it's about 10-15 meters deep. So it can be quite confronting if you don't like deep water. So this is an amazing beach. It is my number one right now. So this, for me, is probably the nicest beach in the planet. The water is clear and clean, and Punta Rata has even been ranked as one of the best beaches in Croatia and Europe. I've gone to Croatia so many times and always make sure I get down to the beach, even if it's not hot enough to swim. I just want to see it. I have so many amazing memories of hanging out with my wife's or Mandy's cousins, Tina and Manuela. They're such great girls and I miss them a lot. There's a fantastic walking track that leads you past the mountain of Biokovo. The track actually runs along the beach, so you have one view of the grassy meadow, trees, and then the big mountain, which is Biokovo. And then you have the other view, and it's this beautiful turquoise water of Brela Beach or Punta Rata Beach. I know this because I've actually done the trek, the little walk along the beach. We were dropped off north of Brela Beach. I don't know where exactly, but we were dropped off by Mandy's uncle Ante because of his recommendation to actually do this walk. And it was truly spectacular, and it's all spectacular and always be something that lives in my memory. I loved it so much. This beach will always be my favorite beach, and nothing will ever take it from top spot. You might see the top 13 might change a bit, but number one's never going to change. So that's about it from me today. That's my top 13 beaches, and I'm so happy that you guys get to know what my favorite beaches are, because it is just unbelievable trying to get this list done. I've done one recording, one recording I attempted on Sunday night. I couldn't do it. Anyway, I've done it now, and you're listening to it and enjoying it. So thanks again for listening to me. I appreciate it. I'm going to get a guest back on soon. I'm going to also get all the audio that I recorded with Chris Rainey and Mandy from America. So that will be coming out very soon. So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm Travelman Podcast. You can email me at travelmanpodcast@gmail.com. I have a website. It's a Wix website. Just type in Travelman Podcast and it will come up. I am on Stitcher Radio. Don't know if I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on all the good podcasting apps. And just have a listen. Download the app. Send me an email. Tell me what your favorite beaches are. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.